What is up everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I am working on day 5 of the sketchbook challenge. Today I'm drawing heads that are tilted because I kept drawing heads that are straight up and down, and I want to push myself to have more angles that I draw at. So I'm going to jump into that right now. Whoa, look at that, look at me go. I'm also adding in hairstyles to these heads because yesterday I decided that I was avoiding hairstyles because it's not something that I do a lot of, but I realized that I could draw a lot of movement in hair, so why avoid it? It's, it could be tons of fun, something that I could get really good at and then use that as one of the abstract elements that it creates these graphic design like shapes. All the things that I like about the graffiti stuff, all that design work is that movement and basic shapes, and I could create hair that has all of those elements once I get good at it. So I'm definitely going to practice more hairstyles. That's what I'm doing on this page, drawing heads that are tilted and have hair, which I haven't done that combination before. And I felt really confident doing this. I don't know where this confidence all of a sudden came from. Like, I felt so insecure about drawing faces for so long, and then suddenly I feel way better about drawing faces. I feel way more confident. I really hope this isn't just today that I feel this way. I'm hoping that this feeling will stay at least around. It'll hopefully linger for a couple of days. But I'm doing something that I'm comfortable doing, but I didn't feel insecure about it. I didn't feel worried about it. And maybe it's just this whole process of taking the pressure off of just having more fun. Like, that could be it. Maybe the confidence is growing from the point of I can't really fail. Like, as long as I'm having fun and trying new things, then it's a win. Like, maybe that type of mentality is finally setting into my brain, and that the confidence is coming from, hey, I'm confident that I can have fun. Maybe even if I'm not confident that I can draw these heads right, I'm definitely confident that I can draw and have fun drawing. Like, there isn't really much of a barrier there. I don't need any technical skills to have fun drawing, right? So maybe that's where the confidence is coming from. I have no idea. Some of these actually turned out pretty good, so I'm really happy with all of this happened, like how all of this turned out is what I meant to say. And yesterday I talked about how I was lacking focus. Like, I didn't really have the type of structure building that I needed yesterday, and the faces turned out wonky. So today I was way more focused, and it helped a lot. Like, I don't usually draw faces that are this consistent, and now I'm drawing them at angles that I'm not used to drawing them at. So that's like a double challenge of drawing in hair, heads that are tilted, and trying to focus way more. And they turned out pretty good. Like, some of these aren't great, they're not perfect. I'm in no way implying that I'm like satisfied, but I feel happy that I'm improving. Like, I can see that this is better than what I was doing 2 months ago. Like, the faces I was drawing 2 months ago were way worse than these, especially in terms of the amount of drawings versus how many of those drawings are actually good, if you know what I mean. Like, the rate of success, like maybe you have like a 10% hit rate where 1 in 10 faces are good, but right now I'm doing more than that. Like, I'm maybe at like 40% instead of 10%. And obviously that bar is going to change constantly, and the more you learn, the higher your bar is. But either way, this is definitely better, and I'm just gonna feel good about it for today. I know that the feeling's going to change later, but I feel happy that I'm doing things that are uncomfortable and I'm still able to create something that is half decent. I expected this to go very badly. I thought that drawing heads that are tilted would go horrible because it's not something I've done before. I haven't done it enough to be good at it. And I'm also worried about like symmetry, because that's also something that I need to work on. Definitely, I have a video where I failed at drawing eyes that were symmetrical, and oh my god, that was a whole thing that I still need to work on. I was worried that some of those kind of problems would pop up while drawing these tilted heads, but hey, turned out pretty good, turned out pretty all right. And we'll see if this is a level of confidence sticks around. Tomorrow might just be a horrible day. So, if this is in the playlist, if you're watching from day 1 to day 14, then you probably already know from the thumbnails, but I don't know where this is gonna go. Hopefully I feel good tomorrow as well. And I'll have a playlist in the description that goes from day 1 to day 14, by the way, that you can check out, because this is from the sketchbook challenge that I'm doing, where I'm taking my expectations and trying to put them aside and just have fun drawing. That's kind of the whole goal with this. I'm going to look at less references and stuff and just try to play. I want this to feel like a sandbox. A sketchbook should feel like something that's fun, and it's something that I've kind of lost over the years, so now I'm trying to get back to it. So that's kind of the whole point of this. Highly recommend you try this if you haven't. if you haven't tried to just have fun, because it's the most important thing about this whole thing. Like if you want to do any type of creative work, even if you're not planning on doing it professionally, then, you know, having fun is still important, because then you can use it as a way to take the pressure off and just relax. One thing that I noticed today consistently was that I kept being distracted by frustrations. I kept coming up with arguments in my head that are non-existent, that, you know, never happened, and they kept creeping into my head while I was trying to focus. And this is something that's obviously common. It's something that a lot of people experience, but I was noticing it especially today because I was trying really hard to focus. So I kept catching myself just being in a daydream of arguments that just never happened and don't exist. Like, it's just such a strange thing to talk about. Like, I know this is normal because I've talked to a lot of my friends about this, but there is this desire to argue. And I think it might be just because your brain wants a challenge. Like, I think human beings like challenges, and arguments are kind of these things where, you know, it's very complex and you can argue and it's a challenge to take on. But it's weird for me to be trying to focus on a thing that's actually challenging and rewarding here in the real world. You know, I'm trying to draw better. And then my brain's like, you know what, this challenge, let's just put this challenge aside. I don't want to focus on this, but I want to focus on this argument that doesn't exist, never happened, and probably never happened. Like, even if I come up with a good comeback for this thing, it doesn't matter because it never happened. It never will happen. And it's so frustrating to keep having, like, it's like a constant thing in my head. Like, it's always there, this temptation to dive into these daydreams of arguments. And it's weird because it's like, I'm giving myself a lot of challenges. Like, I think I'm giving myself a lot of challenges. Like, doing these YouTube videos and getting better at drawing, that should be enough for my brain to like handle. It should be enough challenges for it to have something to munch on. But for some reason, it just wants to go into arguments. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's so weird. But I'm hoping that if I get better at focusing, that this won't be a problem in the future. I don't know if there is a point where that ever goes away. Like, maybe that's just a constant thing that you have to fight. But now the challenge is going to be staying focused on the challenge. So this is just like challenges on top of challenges. It's just an absurd amount of things to keep in mind. It's crazy to me that how unaware I am normally. Like, I'm only noticing it now. It's only getting in my way now because I'm trying to focus, right? Like, while I'm doing these drawings that you're looking at, I'm trying really hard to focus. And that's why I'm noticing these arguments, this made up reality, which makes me realize that, hey, I'm probably doing this all day long, but I'm only noticing it now. Like, this isn't something that's unique to this moment. It's probably something that's underlies my entire day and I don't notice it. So I'm wondering how many moments in my day, how many hours per day do I waste in these hypothetical arguments instead of just living my life and focusing on things that I can actually change. You know, like a hypothetical argument, you can't change anything, but if you focus on something like drawing or making content, these types of things, these are the things that are within my control. So, you know, munching on that and thinking about that actually makes sense. Well, these hypotheticals don't make sense, but I guess the hypotheticals are more exciting because there is no real solution. So maybe the habit comes from the fact that you can run the loop a million times and never do anything about it. Maybe it's just like a brain thing where you get stuck in this loop and therefore your brain gets better and better at doing that loop because you just get stuck in it. That could be a possibility. I don't know. It's strange. It's definitely strange. Like, on the one hand, I'm feeling confident drawing, but in my head, I'm in this like toxic environment where I'm arguing for no reason at all. And really noticed it today. I'm gonna see what happens tomorrow. Like, I know this is something that's normal for me, but it really stood out today and it was really frustrating. Like, I felt really, really annoyed with the whole thing. It's just, why am I doing this? It doesn't make any sense. Why does my brain do this? And I wonder if it's probably like a survival instinct. Like, there's probably like an underlying mechanism that's causing this. I definitely want to get over this at some point. I definitely need to work on my level of focus. And maybe it's a lack of physical exercise. Maybe I just need to tire my body out so that it doesn't constantly want to fight. Like, maybe that's why that's happening. That could be a possibility. Whole bunch of hypotheses of why this is happening. Or maybe it's just because I'm feeling uncomfortable, maybe doing something that I'm not fully used to doing. And then my brain is trying to distract me because it's trying to save me from the thing that may cause me failure. Could be that. So there's a bunch of options. You can pick which one you think the case is. I have no idea, but I'm definitely a bit flabbergasted by the fact that this is something that happens all day. And it's such a waste of energy too, right? Because like 30% of your calories are because of your brain. Like, 30% of your calories are burned just by your brain. I believe that's a right statistic. I know it's high. I don't know if it's specifically 30%, but it's definitely high. So I'm thinking, hey, is that 30% just me arguing all day long? Anyways, that's enough of a ramble about something that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing right now. But yeah, drew a bunch of faces. Some of these turned out pretty good. Some of these are a bit off. Like some of the noses are kind of hard to draw. Like noses and lips get really hard to draw when you tilt the head. Like the eyes aren't as hard to tilt because I feel like I can imagine it better, but the noses and the lips tend to like get a little bit wonky. Yeah, that happened for some of these, but overall pretty good. Needs more practice. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. Am I just going to draw more faces? Like I'm trying not to get too stuck in one thing. Like I don't want to just draw the same thing over and over again. But at the same time, if this is what's fun to me right now, maybe I should just do it until it becomes a little bit less fun and then try new things. But yeah, I have no idea. Maybe I should try to do some figure drawing, but I'm not good enough at figure drawing to do it from imagination, and I don't want to end up using reference because that kind of defeats the purpose of doing this whole experiment. So we will see what happens tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in watching from day 1 to day 14, there will be a playlist in the description that you can check out and just watch and see where this entire challenge takes me. And yeah, I highly recommend you try this if you're interested in having more fun with drawing. Just take on a challenge, see where it takes you. It's fun. It's a good time. It's as long as you're actually focused on trying to have fun instead of beating yourself over the back over the things that you need to improve on, which is what I've been doing for a long time. That's the whole point of this. So yeah, thank you so much. If you're interested in learning how to draw, I have a bunch of drawing tutorials over on the website that you can check out. Link will be in the description and it's on the screen right now. Look at that. Wow. And that's it. Thank you so much for checking this out. If this was of value to you, if you find this interesting, feel free to subscribe and like. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. And hopefully tomorrow you can watch day 6. I think today was day 5. I think, probably maybe wrong. I'll watch whatever day is tomorrow. See what happens. See you guys in the next one. Bye.